Welcome back to Baking for Two. I'm Jessalyn, and today we are making chocolate covered strawberries. It's very simple. We have two ingredients. Can you guess them? Is it perhaps strawberries and chocolate? That simple. We're gonna bite into some chocolate. I'm certain of it. The way a lot of people will make chocolate covered strawberries is just melting chocolate in the microwave, hoping for the best, dipping a wet strawberry in it, and then letting it sit, and then it is horrible. We're going to teach you how to do it properly. Tempering chocolate does take a couple pieces of special equipment, and you're going to need a metal bowl, a pot, and a thermometer, and I guess also something to stir it with. Once you figure this out, you can make anything. I started making a bunch of chocolate bars recently, and those are delicious, and I probably should stop. That's the problem with making stuff like this. Like, I chopped the chocolate because you want the chocolate to be a little bit smaller so it's easier to melt and get up to temperature. But the problem is that I keep eating it, and it's, when you're a baker, you call it a baker snack. You know, if you need to like cut off a piece of the cake to make it look pretty, you just eat that piece of the cake or bread or whatever it is. It's a baker snack. And that's what's happening with the chocolate, and I just keep eating it. Okay, a couple of quick tips. Like I had said, you are going to want to chop your chocolate. So I have a chocolate bar here. I divided it. So I have 80% of the chocolate bar chopped in one bowl. That's the bowl we're going to initially melt over the water. And then I have 20% of the chocolate in another bowl. And the way we're going to temper chocolate today is called the seeding method. And the seeding method helps the chocolate recrystallize at the right temperature, so you don't have to put it in the refrigerator after. It just sits at room temp, and I will show you exactly how to do that soon. I am using milk chocolate. There's a couple of things you need to know. Milk chocolate, the melting temperature needs to be in Fahrenheit, 113 degrees to 119 max. So you're really gonna have to keep stirring and temping it just to make sure it doesn't go over and you get to the right temperature. And then we'll pull it off, and then we're gonna have to cool it back down off the heat with our seeding chocolate. Again, I'll show you how to do that. The other piece of advice I have, if you are going to be dipping any sort of fruit in this, is make sure your fruit is washed, but more importantly, make sure the fruit is dry, because there's nothing worse for chocolate than water. Like, you don't mix the two. It's not cute. It just like soggy, and then it messes up the chocolate. So you're really gonna want clean, dry. This is the only time I'm gonna say this. Make sure it's dry and not super wet and soggy, like wet and dripping, which is how we usually like it. We want juicy strawberries, but not on the outside. So they are dried strawberries to make it easier to dip. And then you are going to want something to put it on after. I have a baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper, and that's where we're gonna let it sit and rest. So let's learn how to temper chocolate. I would like to say I've only done this about a dozen times. I am not a chocolatier. I'm like you. I'm learning as I go, but I have full faith that we're gonna be able to do this together, and we're gonna have some delicious fucking chocolate strawberries. And then if not, we just drip chocolate all over each other's bodies for the rest of the night. It's a win-win. Let's get our water on the stove. We're gonna heat this up. We don't want it to come to like a very aggressive boil. We just want it to be like lightly boiling. What would I say? Light, it's not lightly, I don't know. A simmer. You want your water to come to a simmer. Let me put that on medium high, let that heat up, and then we will start melting our chocolate. Double broiler time. See, we're at a nice little simmer. Everything is dry. I know I said water is the bane of chocolate's existence. The bane, that's intense. Okay, you might want to put it over and just, it seems silly at first. I get it. You're like, I'm just moving around chocolate like this. But yeah, that's all right. Here we go. We're gonna do this. Just keep moving it around until it is melted. And like I said, we wanna make sure that, I put that to low now. We wanna make sure this is all melted into 113 degrees Fahrenheit before we pull it off and add in our seeding chocolate. So sure you're doing some nice turns here. All right, where are we at here? We're at 117, works for me. Just make sure you always take the, when you need to clean it off, just put it in your mouth, because that's how you clean things, is by putting it in your mouth. We're gonna add most of our seeding chocolate. We want this to get down to about 84 degrees. So just keep mixing it. The warm chocolate will melt the seeding chocolate. So don't worry, it will. Some people too, if the seeding chocolate isn't fully melted, they'll go ahead and blend the chocolate. I think that that's ridiculous. Like, it's not that serious. I'm just trying to eat chocolate off your body. Like, come on guys. But if you want to do that, you don't want chunks, in case there are bigger pieces left, that's what's going on. Okay, we're still at 100. I'm gonna put the rest of our seed chocolate in and mix this around. The seed chocolate will bring the temperature down, and like I said before, recrystallize the chocolate so it actually stands at room temperature and isn't melty and horrible. Let's keep mixing. Just temp it again. 96. Another 10 degrees to go down. Luckily, my seed chocolate is just about melted, so I don't have to worry about blending it like other people, which again, I think is crazy. If you do want to go a little bit faster, it is going to be a little bit more volatile if you do this, but you can get an ice bath in another bowl and put this on top. I don't want to do that because it'll cool it a little too quickly and you won't really be able to control it. Maybe eventually, but I'm uninterested in taking that chance today. Let's do a mini ice bath. You know what? I said I wasn't gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Baby ice bath. Put that here. This will help it cool down. Like I said, I was like, I'm not gonna do that, and it's exactly what I decided to do. Going down, which is good. Not quite. It's like I wish I could be that chocolatier man, but that's just so much fucking work. Where is he from? France? He's like Belgian man. I know, but he makes some crazy shit with chocolate. I'm just out here trying to make strawberries for you. It needs to come together to recrystallize. Like at that temperature, it all just kind of like reformats at the right, like in the right structure, I guess. and then you're able to work with it. That's like the working temperature, because if you do it any hotter, you're introducing another item into it, and then it's messing with the crystallization of the chocolate, I believe. Might be wrong, but I need to add more chocolate. And the problem with metal bowls too is that you have to be careful of is that when you're temping, you tend to like hit the bottom of the metal bowl and it'll tell you some crazy number, and that's not the case. So what I keep doing is kind of pulling up the chocolate on my spatula and then temping it from there. We're at 91. Jeez. I think I'm just gonna add this whole thing, and then when it gets to the temp, then I'll pull it out. And then that could be a baker's snack. Took a lot less time yesterday. Okay. 88, we're getting there. Come on, seed chocolate, do your little thing. Working with chocolate's not for the weak. 87, almost. I think I'll stop when it gets to about 86. Pull this chocolate, and then we can dip our strawberries. Can't rush chocolate, okay? 86.5. Thank baby Jesus. All right, we've done it. Brought the temp back down using our seeding chocolate. I'm gonna take this chunk and I'm just gonna put it over here, my parchment. And that can be your baker snack later. All right, we are now at our working temperature for our chocolate. It did take a little bit longer than expected. That's okay, it happens. Now we are able to dip our strawberries in them. It will be hopefully pretty straightforward. But you never know in this kitchen. Sometimes things go awry. And like I always say, I'm here to mess up so that you don't have to. Or you do, and who cares? And it's probably going to be delicious. All right, we have our piece of parchment on our baking sheet. And now we have our juicy, but very dry strawberries. I think also the strawberries are gonna lower the temp. Good? Okay. Oh, I just ripped that off. Uh-oh. Okay. I have chocolate all over my hands, that's fine. We are back. Okay, I had quite a bit of leftover chocolate and I decided not to dip any additional fruit into it. I decided not to dip any additional fruit into excess chocolate. I can't talk because I feel like my mouth has just been really busy. So unfortunately, we're not able to use the rest of the chocolate because I had other plans for it, but I did eat it. I did eat it. And then things got a little. Anyways, I am a chocolate tempering master. Hello, how are you? I managed to properly temper the chocolate. I'm so excited. It took, how long did that take? I mean, like probably 7 to 10 minutes. On a good day, it usually takes me 4, but like today, it took me about 7 to 10 minutes. So this took about 7 to 10 minutes to actually set. You wanted it to turn out to be, what's a good one? You want it to be matte and not streaky. That's the key to having it be an appropriately tempered chocolate. So from the time I finished tempering to now, it was probably all of 15 minutes. So pretty quick process. Really excited. Let's do chocolate covered strawberries. See how they taste. I mean, come on. It blows, oh geez, dropped my chocolate. It blows my mind that people will spend hundreds of dollars to make something like this, which is like a high quality chocolate bar. I get Tony's, $4.50. And the good thing is strawberries, how much? Like, and then you can make a ton of them. That's so good. These strawberries are unreal. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know if you use the seeding method. Let me know and tag me if you decided to make your own chocolate covered strawberries. It is so worth it. It's delicious and way cheaper. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.